What's going on, everyone? So, I've been thinking about, the potential star trade because I do think that's kind of the best route. I also think Boston winning the NBA Finals kind of solidifies that a little more, right? Like the front end talent still wins. Talent is still the most important thing. And the team with the most talent usually wins. So to me, again, obviously you have to have the proper fit, right? You look at a team like Phoenix, you could argue, well, look at their talent, look at their front end talent, but the pieces don't really fit. The pieces don't really make sense. So to me, if you can get the right fit as well as the talent level, then I think you have a winning formula. Now, I know Boston is kind of this anomaly that was able to take place before the new CBA and stuff like that. So I don't think you'd be able to build exactly like what Boston's doing, but I do think you could build something that is just kind of like maybe a tier lower, and then you kind of let the cars fall. Now, I know the 2020 model is something like a lot of people want the Lakers to get back to that, but that's really hard to build overnight in a league where everybody wants those pieces, right? Which is a problem. Again, and even that 2020 model, you got to keep in mind, that was built over years. We already had Caruso. We already had KCP, right? We got LeBron prior. Then we went and traded the next year for Anthony Davis. And then we brought in Danny Green. And then, it took years to kind of build that and put that together. And with LeBron and his timeline, we don't really have years to put it together. So to me, it's kind of like, hey, let's just put together the most talented roster we possibly can. But regardless, I've been kind of going through okay, how do I rank these potential trades, right? Donovan Mitchell, Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, right? Like all of these different, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. Now, Donovan Mitchell is at the top of my list, but I think he's a bit unlikely. I don't think it's impossible, right? I just think it's very unlikely. Unless he pulls an Anthony Davis and goes I only want to go to the Lakers, which there are reports that the Knicks are out on him, like the Knicks aren't interested in him anymore, that ship has sailed, which is good for the Lakers because there were reports earlier that were like it's the Knicks or the Lakers. So if that's true and the Knicks really did pull themselves out, then it would be the Lakers. But again, don't hold your breath, don't get your hopes up. But if you can, to me, Donovan Mitchell is the best choice, is the best option for now and the future. But what is the other ranking? I really like DeJounte Murray. Right? Trae, I think long-term might make the most sense because you can have him longer, even after Anthony Davis, because he's so young that you can keep him long-term. But fit-wise, I have my concerns. I like Trae, but I have my concerns, right? Especially with him and LeBron. And LeBron's probably sticking around for another 2-3 years, right? So then you kind of keep going down the list. And the more that I think about it, and the more that I kind of break it down from a current and now standpoint to a future standpoint, the more I really like the Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso move. So the Lakers are supposedly interested in acquiring Zach LaVine if they can get Alex Caruso in the deal, right? So basically, the Lakers really want Alex Caruso. They like Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine is a bit of a risk. But it's kind of well, if we can get Alex Caruso, it's worth taking the risk because also you wouldn't have to sell the farm to go get Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso. You would player and salary-wise, but you wouldn't have to give up all of your picks and all of your assets. So you basically would get an all-star level player. You would get a legit 3-and-D guy who just shot 43% from three and was on an all-NBA defensive team. So you get that on top of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Plus, you'd still have Max Christie, Maxwell Lewis. You'd have, Christian Wood. You could go and sign various pieces, but you could keep your picks, right? That's the idea. Maybe you have to give up one. Let's say maybe you have to give up the 2029 first, right? Well, then that's fine because you could keep the 17th pick. So to me, it's if you could keep this year's pick and say draft a Zach Edey, right? So you get a Zach Edey, get an Alex Caruso, you can get a Zach LaVine to add to LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jared Vanderbilt, right? I would like to keep Jared Vanderbilt. They probably keep Austin Reeves, so remove Jared Vanderbilt and say Austin Reeves, right? Because the only way that the Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso thing would really work is if D'Lo opts in. If D'Lo opts in, then you basically, it's D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent, and then one of Jared Vanderbilt or Austin Reeves. Now, technically, you could keep Vando and Reeves and just like stack a bunch of contracts, right? Like you could do like Jalen Ochefino, Christian Wood, Maxwell Lewis, and because you'd be basically like 7 million shy. So you could basically stack up the 7 million and keep Reeves and Jared Vanderbilt and just trade Rui, Gabe Vincent, and D'Angelo Russell. But realistically, you're not going to do a 7-for-2 swap, right? But a 4-for-2 swap makes sense. The Lakers, because it's the Lakers, they're probably keeping Austin Reeves. But I'd be okay with that, right? Because, again, you'd have Zach LaVine, Austin Reeves, Alex Caruso, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. You'd still have Max Christie, Maxwell Lewis, Jalen Ochefino, right? You'd still have Christian Wood. And if you keep yourself, you'd have Zach Edey. And that's not even counting free agency. Right, that's not even counting if you can you go get a Royce O'Neal or, because you'd still have your taxpayer mid-level. You'd still have, your various vet minimums. Maybe go take a flyer on a Kevin Porter Jr. and go get like a Chris Paul. I think depth would be fine. I think now you have your bona fide third guy that can score, go get buckets. Obviously, injuries are a little concerned, but I also think Zach LaVine's because people are like, oh, he can never stay healthy. Well, not counting this year, which the only reason he really went to go get surgery was because Detroit came into the picture. Because surgery wasn't even a thought until Detroit came into the picture. We didn't even know he needed or was going to have surgery until Detroit came into the picture. And then Detroit showed up and he was like, yeah, I'm going to go have surgery. He was fully expected to be back in play. Right? He was supposed to be fine. And he looks good. But I also think people are like, oh, he's always hurt. Well, he played 77 games the year before, and then he played 67 the year before that. The guy's basically a 60 to 65 game a year type guy, which is basically all the stars in the league. There's a reason the NBA made the 65 games the cutoff, because that's the average that all of these stars are playing. The day of guys playing 82 games doesn't exist anymore. And to me, the upside with Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso is everything you want. You'd still maintain your depth, but you also keep all of your young pieces and all of your picks for now and the future. So again, you don't have if you were to trade for DeJounte Murray, you're probably trading 2 first-round picks. Right? Or even if you're getting Trae Young, you're probably then at that point trading all 3 first plus pick swaps, plus things like that, or even Donovan Mitchell. You're probably trading all of your picks, plus all of your players, plus you're selling the farm for all those guys. Where a guy like Zach LaVine has the same upside. I mean, it's a guy that even last year he played 23 games or whatever, and still had a 50-point game. Still at a 50-point game. And he showed the ability to play off ball, playing alongside, DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White and guys like that, right? And when he came back from injury, he was even more willing to adapt, and he was making more plays, and he actually picked up his defense stuff, which defensively people are like, oh, he's a scrub. He's not. He's better than league average, right? Which, again, is fine. You don't need him to be elite, right? So, he perfectly complements your 2 stars in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You'd still be able to maintain your depth. You'd get an all-defensive guy in Alex Caruso, who also shot 43% from three-point range. You'd get to keep all of your picks. Again, maybe you have to give up one. Like I said, let's say you have to give up 2029 pick. Okay, fine. But you still get to keep this year's pick to go get Zach Edey or Ware or whoever. And then you also get to keep all your Max Christie, your Jalen Ochefino, your Maxwell Lewis, so you can grow and develop them. You get to keep your second-year pick. So you now have an influx of youth that you can grow and develop. You have a ready-to-win roster with enough talent to win, and you have future flexibility, right? To me, that's a no-brainer. And then, again, people are like, oh, it's a risk. Well, anybody's a risk. And who are they going to get in trades that are going to make them that much better and also sets them up for the future, right? Like, are you really trading all of your picks for like a Dorian Finney-Smith and, whomever, right? Like, to go get role guys that make more sense to fit in. One, can LeBron still carry the way that he used to? Right? I mean, we saw him look gassed numerous times this season. He's still an excellent, don't get me wrong, he's still incredible. He's still a max level player. He's still arguably, at worst, top 12 in the league. I think he's probably closer to top 10, but he's top 10, 12 in the league. Right? Like, so he's still very good, but you saw him get gassed. Even in the Denver series, he got gassed. But if you had a guy like a Zach LaVine who can just go give you 30 on any given night, hey, like, can you, during the regular season, can you just like average 25? Like, sure, I can do that. Yeah, let me do that. Right? Like, just go take the shots and go score the bucket, right? Adds athleticism. And then again, on top of that, you're getting like an Alex Caruso, keeping Austin Reeves. Like, your starting five could literally be Austin Reeves, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Again, I would rather keep Jared Vanderbilt and go with like Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, because I think that it's just such a nice balance of defense and offense. But it's the Lakers, they're going to keep Austin Reeves, right? So to me, it's like that's a good enough starting five to contend. I mean, that's probably a top 3 to 5 roster minimum. Like, with Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, it's minimum top 3 to 5. And then I think you still have plenty of depth. You have plenty of time. The more that I think about it, the more I really like that. Because, again, you're keeping future flexibility. You're raising your ceiling and giving you a better opportunity to win now. I just think however you slice it, it's like, are there concerns? Yes, but there's going to be concerns with no matter who you get. Right? Even if you're getting role guys, there's concerns like, are they just going to disappear in the playoffs? How many times do we get role guys and they just completely forget how to shoot, right? If you get role guys, there's concerns. And there's like, are these guys going to be good enough? If you get another star that isn't Zach LaVine, there's still concerns about injuries and, will they fit? And no matter what, there's going to be questions, concerns, and is this going to work? But to me, if you can maintain flexibility to where if it doesn't work, you're still incredibly flexible, then I'd rather go that route. And I just think that Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso give you the best balance with everything. Because you wouldn't have to sell the farm. You get to have a team that's ready to win now, and you have the flexibility for the future and young guys to continue to grow and develop. I really like the idea. Again, it's kind of the more, obviously, if we'll see free agency as it starts to begin, other guys may become available that we're not aware of, right? Like, there could be all kinds of different factors. So my thoughts could potentially change. But as of right now, as it stands, right, it kind of feels like that might be the best approach, honestly. But also there's a couple of things that would have to kind of fall in line. Particularly, D'Lo would have to opt in. Or they'd have to work it out to where Chicago's like, yeah, we want D'Lo long term, and you whatever, sign and trade, whatever, which with a hard cap, make a mess, but keep it simple. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of adding Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso? Do you think no? Go with another player, or go with the depth route, or whatever. Do you agree with my points? Disagree with my points? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.